Sandown to Bathurst and on to Oran Park. The qualifying and race pace through season 95 has been set by those aboard a Ford. Only Larry Perkins, Peter Brock and Mark Scape have offered any competitive resistance to the FORDs of Shell Series champ John Bauer and runner-up Glenn Seaton. In the interest of preserving parity between Henry and the General, officials have clipped the wings on the Fords to slow their aeroflow and make Holden part of the show. By sheer weight of numbers, Commodore is the popular pick at Mount Panorama this weekend. The King is still one short of that magic 10. Sandown pole sitter Craig Lowndes cannot be overlooked, nor can Mark Scape, Larry Perkins, or even the Coke Boys, if they don't wrinkle their toys. Dick Johnson has written several chapters of Ford folklore here at the mountain, and today he is ready to answer the challenge. So too is Seaton, last year's fastest qualifier. Can he possibly oust Johnson and Brock and make it 2 from 2? Well, we're about to find out as the 7 Network welcomes you to Bathurst, New South Wales and the traditional pole day shuffle that is the Tooheys Top 10.
Hello and welcome to Bathurst on Tooheys Top 10 Day, a beautiful day. We've had some very fast racing already at Bathurst this week, very competitive. And a warm welcome to Gary Wilkinson. There's a lot to like about the top 10 this year, Gary, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. Evenly divided. You've got 5 and 5, Holdens and Fords. You've got, in the top 10, drivers that have won the race 20 times between them. Less than a second between the top 8 qualifiers. And you've got this young blood, Craig Lowndes, Stephen Johnson, coming in here to challenge the top guys. You couldn't ask for a better scenario. Well,
it may be a changing of the guard, but some of the biggest names in the sport are on the grid for the top 10 today.
Larry Perkins, winner 93, teaming up with Russell Ingall, but Perkins driving the car in the top 10. Glenn Seaton, of course, shooting for pole again. Dick Johnson, the old stager, waving the flag for Queensland. Peter Brock, winner 9 times, shooting for number 10. Mark Scape, twice winner before, and a very fast man behind the wheel. Craig Lowndes, as I mentioned, a man to watch for the future. Wayne Gardner, well, the Coke Boys have had some bad luck, but hoping they can put it together today. Charlie O'Brien, well, Stephen Johnson is driving this car in the top 10. Another terrific young talent. Alan Jones, well, what more can we say? Former world motor racing champion. And Tony Longhurst, another former winner.
Gary, let's join Mike Raymond, who's down on the track, walking his way through the top 10.
Thank you, Bruce McAvaney. What a lineup we have for the Tooheys Top 10 today here at Mount Panorama. Tony Longhurst, Ford, you must be happy, 10th.
10th. At least I'm not going to slip back any further where I am. I can only go forward.
I hope you do too. Good luck to you, Tony. The Peter Jackson team have 2 in the lineup today. Glenn Seaton, who's a little up towards the front, and the man who starts in the 35 car, great reputation, Alan Jones.
Morning, Michael.
You look well.
Thank you very much.
A quick time.
Yeah, well, I'm very happy with the car. We've slowly got it better and better as the weekend's progressed, and we've got a new fresh engine in now, so I'm looking forward to it.
Have a good ride, Alan.
Thank you.
Any number of Fords. We have, in fact, 5 Fords and we have 5 Commodores making up the top 10. The youngest driver in the field, it's Junior Johnson. How are the nerves? A little like that this morning?
Yeah, they're there, I can tell you.
What did Mum say? She's got a husband and she's got a son now in the top 10.
She's quite nervous herself. I think she's going to lock herself in the toilet before the top 10 run off.
I won't touch that with a barge pole. Have a good run. Stephen Johnson. One driver who needs no introduction in this lineup has to be our ex-Formula 500 world champion, Wayne Gardner. Terrific time. The car is strong and so's the team.
Yes, big improvement from last year, and no, the car's very strong, and obviously we're hoping for a good result this weekend.
Have a good one.
Thank you, Mike.
Wayne Gardner, we wish him well. He's been a little unlucky this year, but one guy who's going to create a lot of headlines here, and that is young Craig Lowndes. You, pup, you ready to go?
Oh, yeah, the car's feeling good. We're feeling good. The team's 100% behind us, so, yeah, we're looking for a good result.
What about that bloke in the 05 car, the old guy?
No, he's given us a lot of support, and hopefully we can beat him on the circle like anybody else.
Have a good one, Craig Lowndes. Well, a fellow who has won here twice, he did it in the Nissan. He's our ex-Australian champion of 2 years back. And that's Mark Scape. Are you primed for this one?
We'll certainly give it our best shot, Mike, I think.
No, that's not answering the question.
No, we're primed for this one. It'll be no problem. We've just got to make sure the tyre works in this time. So see how we go.
Have a good one, Mark Scape. If one driver needs no introduction whatsoever at Mount Panorama, it's the guy they call Peter Perfect. Will he be perfect today? You answer the question.
Remains to be seen, Mike. Give it our best shot, see what happens.
Third quick, you must be happy.
Yes, very happy. Car's running like a dream and going to unleash me, and who knows?
Go and get unleashed.
Thanks, mate.
Good luck to Peter Brock. We've met one of the Johnsons. Now, the fella who is going to run the car, the 17 car, is Dick Johnson. We've spoken to your son. Are you ready for pole?
Well, as long as he doesn't beat me, yeah.
Have a good one, mate.
I will, thanks.
And that leaves us with the challenge between the guys setting the pace here at Mount Panorama. And I refer to the baby-faced assassin, Glenn Seaton. You'd love to get rid of that tag, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, mate.
Can you do this 2 years in a row?
Well, I'm going to do my best. I think we've got a real good chance. We've got a great engine in for today, and I'm really looking forward to it. We've got a great package.
Good one. Have a good one. That leaves the man who's been the fastest here at Mount Panorama for the last 2 days. Loves it in the wet. We'll see what he thinks about the dry. Larrikin Larry Perkins. Can you do this?
Well, I'm certainly going to try, that's for sure.
Well, good luck to you. That's the top 10 for Tui's in 95. Back to you, Bruce.
Gary, they'd be feeling a little tight in the tummy, wouldn't they? But one man who'd be feeling pretty loose today, I think pretty happy with himself, is Glenn Mason. He's probably the luckiest guy in Australia.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this was a phenomenal crash yesterday in the Suzuki Cup event. There's the car rolling, barrel roll 6 times, jumped the fence, ended up in a gully 100 metres from the racing surface. He was conscious when they cut him out of the car. He's in hospital still. He's got a fractured cheekbone and a broken thumb. That's all. He was conscious when they cut him out of the car. He'll be leaving hospital today. He will be here at the circuit tomorrow. Can you believe getting out of that mess with just so slight injuries in relation to that crash?
Well, it's a remarkable story. There's been some fine-tuning in the Seaton camp. Let's go down to the pit lane now with Andy Raymond.
Thank you very much, Bruce. And it's been a case of musical chairs for Team Peter Jackson. Glenn Seaton nominated Alan Grice as the co-driver, but put David Parsons into the hot seat after some impressive practice laps. That's quite a compliment from the boss.
Yeah, it is indeed, Andy. Honestly, I'm very, very happy to be with AJ or Glenn, but whichever. As long as I've got a seat, 4 wheels and steering wheel, look, I'm wrapped.
He did it last year in the Tui's top 10. Can he do it again?
Well, not being biased, but I'd love to see it happen. But Perkins is going to be there, and young Lowndes, like, you just don't know. It's going to be really good.
With the temperature being a little cooler, is it hard to warm the tyres up so they're at optimum temperature for that one hot lap?
Yeah, it certainly is. I'm pleased I'm standing here and the boys can get into it. But yeah, it is. It's very, very hard, and they're just going to have to watch the step a little bit and try and nail it at the same time.
David Parsons there with Andy Raymond. We have Tony Longhurst. He is the first guy to run this morning in Tui's top 10 for 95, the Castrol Falcon. He's had a season of learning, setting up his own V8 team. I think he's acquitted himself very well, Alan Moffat.
He certainly has, Mike, because it's not easy to put one of these cars together, and he did it very quickly over the Christmas break last year. Obvious teething problems at the beginning of the Shell Series, but here he is at Bathurst in the top 10, and I think that's a compliment for anyone.
I said 5 Commodores and 5 Falcons in the top 10 as we welcome Mark Osler to the broadcast today. And who's your pick?
Well, isn't it tight? I mean, trying to pick a winner out of this 10 is just so difficult. Gary Wilkinson referred to before, top 8 covered by less than a second. The top 10 are covered by just 1.6 seconds on a 6.2 kilometre circuit. That is absolutely amazing.
Fabulous is working those tyres down to Caltex Chase, the left, then the right for Tony Longhurst.
Tony, the first of the Yokohama teams.
Yes, there is really a good tyre battle going on here, and a healthy one too. Yokohama, Bridgestone, and of course Dunlop, probably the ace supplier at the moment, coming through to take the flag and commence his lap of the top 10. The run-off today, $15,000 to set quick time.
Well, as Mike said earlier on, tremendous effort from Tony Longhurst in 1995. Built this car in just 10 weeks at the beginning of the season. He had a few engine problems early on the season, picked up a very prominent engine builder in Sydney by the name of Wayne Jones, who, by his own admissions, given the car another 60 or 70 horsepower toward the end of the season. And boy, isn't he got some speed out of this thing.
Well, this is one place where you need every horsepower you can find. You'd sell your grandmother for one of them if you could find it on a Saturday night here. But Tony doing well. He locked up a brake there on the approach to Mountain Straight, but he's got it under control here. He's got to come in here nice and cleanly. Car bouncing a little bit there, but only because he's throwing it. Wouldn't necessarily race it like that, and bear in mind the tanks are almost empty, just enough to get around for a couple of laps.
Well, Tony, like all the Ford runners, very concerned about the aerodynamic alterations to the Falcon in the lead up to this race, but just a few weeks before he did admit, after a lot of testing at Lakeside, he had the car beautifully balanced. He was very confident at the speed he was going to get out of the car. You can hear the crowd cheer, puts the wheels up on the ripple strip, maximum speed as he comes over the top of the mountain.
It's a brave move to use that amount of real estate there, but he's holding it very firm. Hasn't made any mistakes so far. Close to the wall. You'll want to come in here tight around Dunlop corner into Forest Elbow.
Pretty good entrance and flows out to the outside. Now works Conrod straight. Big crowd here this morning for the top 10 runoff at Tui's on top of the mountain. And Carr absolutely flat strap as it crests this hill and runs downhill now for the right-hand shot to Caltex Chase. Just listen to the engine.
Fabulous.
You've only got to stand beside the fence there and feel that massive wave of air almost push you off your feet. Unbelievable speed through there.
Picks up a wheel there. But so does everyone else, just clipping the curb on the exit to that corner beneath the Bridgestone Bridge and down to complete his lap. You'll be able to see it in just a second. Tony Longhurst actually, I think, qualified for the 10 last year at the back and made his way up through the pack. Tony Longhurst at 2:13.89. 2:13.89, the time for Tony Longhurst. That sets the benchmark for the morning. Yes, he actually pole vaulted about 4 or 5 cars last year, Tony, in his final run with the Benson and Hedges Commodore.
Well, 2:13.89. That's about 7 or 8 tenths down on his time yesterday, but he was the first guy out on the track this morning. So maybe the times will get progressively quicker. Tony Longhurst into pit lane and
we should have
the circuit. Yeah.
Alan Jones in the first of the Peter Jackson Falcons. He'll wring its neck. Make no mistake, got a fresh engine in last night.
He's been pushing it every practice session and has really got the car under control. He seems to be very happy with it. So just warming it up, virtually going probably 9/10 here to get as much heat into the tires as possible. Bridgestone tires traditionally have always liked been a little bit slow to get heat into the mark, and they like every lap of practice they can get. So he might throw it around even a bit more through the chase.
Well, it is the interesting difference between the Peter Jackson cars and the Shell cars this weekend. The Peter Jackson car obviously running Bridgestone tyres, the Shell cars on Dunlops. And it was the Peter Jackson cars that set the pace for the Fords early in practice. First practice session Wednesday, Seaton was just 2 tenths behind the fastest car at the time. So they really have been setting the pace, but the Shell team have closed the gap as the weeks progressed.
The exit to the chase, and Jones comes down. He'll get the green as he works his way into pit straight. The guy that's used to qualifying, standing on them.
He used to always qualify well when he had his Williams. And this is a business where you have to get up to the front of the grid.
Guy with enormous experience. 1980 World Formula One champion. Also Australian GT champion. He's driven everything from Can-Am cars to sports cars at Le Mans. He's driven just about everything and done it with great style.
Great style and great verve.
And tremendous speed.
Heading up the Holden Hill. Jonesy working his way to Repco, the right-hander.
Using every ounce of the road there, right over, wheel over the white line. Just trying to drift through here. That rock doesn't actually go all the way down to that Armco, so that shot doesn't look as dangerous as he's just made it look.
Yes, just locks it up a little bit on the way in.
It is fabulous to watch these guys, Alan, on these one-lap qualifiers. They can really hang it out. The fastest times are found just those millimetres from the wall.
Look out for our cameraman there.
And they know they don't have the disappointment of going over the brow of some of these blind corners and seeing somebody right on the line again there.
Sticks the wheel right over the white line, 200 kilometres an hour across the top of the mountain. It's an unbelievable roller coaster ride as they come over here across Skyline. Alan Jones, look at the split compared to Tony Longhurst.
Well, it was a 1:10. It was pretty quick. Actually, he is marginally faster than Longhurst at the top of the mountain.
Longhurst did about a 1:28 that part of the track last time around. Alan Jones putting in a nice quick one here.
Yeah, it's a very smooth run. He hasn't put a foot wrong here. It's not locking up anything. It's squeezing through every one of those corners.
Well, Jones 4 tenths of a second faster at the same point across the mountain that time. So he's on a quicker lap than Longhurst. If he can carry that speed all the way down Conrod, I'm sure he'll be faster.
Here he comes on his way. Listen to it. No backing off. Break time into Caltex Chase.
Through the gears.
Look at the way he just slides into the chase there.
He was hanging on to it. She was a little taily there. He's got it set up loose.
Absolutely maximum performance from the Peter Jackson Falcon. Jones hammering this engine back through the gears. 206 as he swings back toward pitch straight.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot quicker, isn't it? Across the line now to take the flag. He's in the 12s, a 2:12.71. A 2:12.71 to Alan Jones. So he goes to the top of the order, but there's a lot more fast guys to come. The Tooheys top 10 for Bathurst. We'll be back in just a moment. Tooheys 1000 top 10 day at Mount Panorama, Bathurst. Fabulous crowd in here. The weather is beautiful. It's a little cool, but it's sunny. And out on the racetrack at the moment, driving car number 18 is 21-year-old Stephen Johnson from Daisy Hill in Brisbane, the son of Dick in the Shell FAI Falcon. What a fabulous day for Dick and for the Johnsons, for Dad and the son.
And such a personable son as well. Gentleman, well-mannered, and emulating his dad before he's even had a year in a car. Just a fabulous.
And what confidence, too, for Dad to say, all right, you've earned your spurs, son. Charlie O'Brien will sit out the top 10 qualifying. So 2 Johnsons will line up. And here's the green flag coming out. Stephen Johnson brings the Falcon across the line beneath the Tooheys Bridge and works his 1 lap here at Mount Panorama.
First of the second generation races in Australian touring car racing. And boy, this guy's cool head and his composure and unbelievable raw speed, an indication of the future of touring car racing in this country. We're in pretty good shape. This guy really has impressed a lot of people in a very short period of time.
He reminds me of the chance that Glenn Seaton got when he was taken by Fred Gibson into the Nissan team, Datsun team at the time, and able to be nurtured by Fred and his dad, Bo. Given good equipment, but the talent was there, and Stephen has got the same opportunity, and he's certainly using it well.
He doesn't just cash in on his dad's famous name either. This guy is so committed to motorsport. He lives it, eats it, breathes it 24 hours a day. He studies racing videos. He just studies lap times. He studies everything about motorsport, almost as an art form, and he's so heavily into it, so committed to it. It really is very impressive.
Really wound up there. You can see the leverage in the chassis. When you see that wind up in the body, that's not happening by wind power, that's horsepower. Look at that, whipping it through that corner. Any fellow that takes that curve up there has got the brave pills on board.
We'll check the splits for you at Forest Elbow in comparison to 2 other cars. Gets the wheel up in the air. He's driving this car very, very hard, but so tidy so far. Hasn't put a foot wrong. Down through the elbow, back through the gears, lining up for Forest Elbow and Conrod Straight, a critical corner this.
Through there nicely.
Quick exit.
No trouble. He'll whip that up now through 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th speed in the Hollinger 6-speed boxes. Everybody running this fabulous Hollinger gearbox designed by Peter Hollinger in Melbourne. A world-class contribution to motor racing.
Check the splits for you at Forest Elbow. About 7/100ths of a second slower than Jones when he reached out the elbow that time around. But he may have picked up a little bit of speed on the straight. These Shell Fords are generating enormous horsepower at Bathurst this weekend.
He makes the exit from Caltex Chase beneath the Bridgestone Bridge. Come down and complete his 1 lap here at Mount Panorama. Previous best a 2:12.71 to Alan Jones. Junior Johnson out of the final turn comes across the line. Fairly close, maybe in the 13s, yes, at 2:13.11, the time for Stephen Johnson. 2:13.11, not a bad effort at all. And he has a very experienced co-driver tomorrow in Charlie O'Brien from Queensland, so an all-Queensland effort here with the exception of John Bower. The Tasmanian who will share with Dick Johnson. Dick going to run the car this morning as Stephen Johnson heads back down pit lane. And they'd be well satisfied with the performance of Junior here this morning at Mount Panorama. Got a lot of supporters, a lot of drivers, a lot of time for him. Let's go to Andy Raymond.
Thanks a lot, Mike, and you can bet the butterflies were building up in Stephen Johnson at 2:13.11.
Just trying to keep it straight for the race. I really wasn't interested in going for a time because it really doesn't matter where you start. And I'm really looking forward to the race because I think we've got a good chance, and I didn't want to destroy the chances by making a mistake in qualifying.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Andy.
Well done. The second generations are working the pit lane too.
Ever needed an example of Stephen Johnson's cool head? That's it. The guy is just approaches it with such a level head. It's very impressive.
This guy needs very little introduction to motor sporting followers, and I'd throw that under 2 and 4 wheels. Wayne Gardner in the Coca-Cola number 7 car. 35 years of age, looks a lot younger, from Wollongong in New South Wales. 3rd of Bathurst here in the Tooheys 1093. 500cc motorcycle champ at 87, won 18 500cc Grand Prix events and 2 Australian 500 Grand Prix events, both of those at Phillip Island. 2 great moments in sport. Wayne Gardner looking to go better than his second of 2 years ago. His own team, sponsored by Coca-Cola, very supportive. And here he comes out to take the green. They go beneath the Tooheys Bridge.
Yes, a nice, good, clean run onto the straight. They don't want to be locking it up in the first corner before they even get a run at the timing light. The beam is under the track, radio controlled, and the car trips the beam automatically. There's no argument at all about somebody slipping on stopwatches here. We've got the world-class timing system installed here with the monitors on every car.
Well, this guy gets the bravery award for me for the week. I was watching him through the traffic on the top of the mountain. Just scintillating stuff. He's just so quick in the car. And he hasn't been making any mistakes. The car has been very, very fast all week.
I think what you're seeing there, Mark, is with his motorbike background on so many different circuits that must have been hairy all over the world, that Bathurst probably less intimidating to him than it is to a number of drivers.
Over our track cam, up toward the top of the mountain, over Reed Park, gets a wheel in the air. Inside the white line cheer from the crowd. Gardner right on the limit as he comes toward McPhillamy Park this time around.
He pulled a perfect lap here at Mount Panorama last year, with the exception of the dipper where he got it up on 2 wheels. We'll see whether he's cured that as he heads down. Very capable co-driver Neil Crompton for tomorrow's great race. Here we go, heading to the dipper. That was much better.
Keep in mind too, Gardner was the fastest man to Forest Elbow in last year's run-offs, but he really lost it due to a lack of horsepower down Conrod Straight. They've got new Rob Benson engines this year. There's no shortage of grunt from the Coca-Cola Chevys, so he shouldn't be lacking for straight line speed. Nice exit from Forest Elbow.
Yes, he's done well there.
And let's check the split. He's the fastest man to Forest Elbow, 1 minute 27.80, so he's carrying that speed all the way down Conrod. This should be the fastest lap if he can carry that all the way down the main straight.
We'll have a listen to the Holden engine, or the Chevy, as it works the straight.
280k, that's 180 mile an hour on the old scale, folks.
Don't sound any better than that at Indianapolis, I can assure you. That's a fabulous ring out of that 5-litre Chev.
He comes beneath Bridgestone again, heading down. The Dunlop shod car of Wayne Gardner, sponsored by Coca-Cola. They're getting stronger throughout this season. Final corner comes up. Checkered flag at the ready. A little sideways out of there, but it should be a good time just the same as he gets across the line. Yes, sir. 2:12.54. 2:12.54. Holden fans have just gone berserk along pit straight.
Yes, fastest time of the day. He's done very well. He was trying hard there. And nice to see him get a good result there. Fastest time so far.
First man into the 127s of the split.
Heading across the top of the mountain on his warm-up lap now is Craig Lowndes, man who almost drove into the history books here at Mount Panorama last year. You'll recall the fabulous dice between he and John Bowe in the closing stages of the Tooheys 1000. He hasn't done a lot of touring car racing during the year. Sandown 500, just went out and made quick time, and then had a rush of blood, which he admits he should have known better, but then went up to pass everyone in the race and finished in the sand trap. I think he's learnt the lesson.
He's got that out of his system now, and I'm sure that he's well bridled here this weekend and knows the responsibilities of getting the car to the finish line. Here he is on his...
Has a very adequate co-driver tomorrow too. Greg Murphy, the tiny turret racer from New Zealand, who everyone has a huge rap on, terrific rap on. So we'll see what Craig can do this time. He'll activate the timer as he goes beneath the Tooheys Bridge, and he is underway.
Craig Lowndes at the wheel of the Holden Racing Team Chevy. And boy, that raw speed he showed at Sandown, and certainly, as Mike said, the speed at Bathurst last year. This guy has an enormous amount of natural talent, and if they can capture that, harness it, turn it into that racecraft, he is going to be quite a formidable opponent.
If he doesn't learn anything working alongside Peter Brock, it'd be a silly boy, and I don't think that's the case. He's got his nose down.
Oh, gets a little bit sideways coming up Repco Bend up toward the cutting that time around.
Here they come to BP in there, right?
Very powerful engines in these cars, and so they should be. They've been working on them for years and years, and with the factory knowledge and ability to get into the parts bin, they really do sound. They're probably the nicest sounding cars on the track, and pull these things down Conrad with maximum speed. But he's handling a nice mark there.
Sure is.
Little kiss of that curve. See how we go through here. Little squirt, a bit of acceleration here now. Straighten it up. Natural to drop it there in the dipper. But looking very good. And looking fast.
Sure is a little lock up there.
Minor one, didn't upset him.
A little bit of understeer on the front of the car as it came out of Forest Elbow, but managed to gather it in. Look at the split. 1 minute 26.89, the fastest man so far by a long way. Over a second, I think, faster than Wayne Gardner at the same point of the track. So he is flying.
Yes, listen to it there coming through with our track mic picking that up.
Watch him through here. Very smooth through Caltex. Now the exit. Down to the left-hander. Here he comes, Craig Lowndes. This will be fairly tight.
Time's coming down all the time.
The exit beneath the brick stops the clock. The time he had to beat was a 2:12.54. 2:11.55. Boy, is the heat up here at Mount Panorama.
That's an excellent time.
Hear the crowd erupt.
Craig Lowndes, fast time man. We'll take a break and back with more fast action from Mount Panorama.
Or perhaps an ominous sign. 8 no second prize. Welcome to Richard Hay for the 10th time at Bathurst. Almost a happy birthday for you, Richard. What does Craig Lowndes' time do for the 5 men still to come?
Well, it puts huge pressure on them. It's faster than Larry Perkins managed to go in official qualifying. It puts enormous pressure on Seaton. But it's wonderful, I think, to see a young guy like Craig Lowndes going so quickly. It's a fantastic performance. He's 0.02 of a second faster than Perkins went before. Gardner, a good time from him, and Alan Jones. A great drive from Johnson, too. Very sensible and very mature drive from Junior Johnson, and Tony Longhurst, 5th quickest at the moment, and I suspect likely to stay there.
Well, Richard, it's really set up now, isn't it? And you can set yourself up tomorrow during our telecast when you can become even more involved in the Tooheys 1000.
Yes, a great competition tomorrow. Watch and win thanks to Holden. And Holden looking sharp here with Craig Lowndes, the fast man, the leader of the pack, with a 2:11.55. Can Mark Scaife go one better? And the Winfield Commodore, they've been fast here all week. They haven't been down in the low 11s, so he's got a bit of work to do. But then again, Lowndes has broken new ground this morning. Mark Scaife underway in the #1 machine.
He's a fellow with a lot of experience around here and a very dedicated approach. He thinks about every lap he does, every lap he's got behind him. And if there's any way that this car can do the job today, the Fred Gibson team have thrown everything at it to make it the fastest possible for him.
It's been a great fight back in form for this team. You think of the terrible start they had to the year with Scaife's horrific crash in the wet at Eastern Creek. They really lost their way for a while there. He tumbled from one end of the grid to the other throughout the Touring Car Championship. But come the endurance races, they really have got back to that dominant form they showed in 1994, and they really are hungry for a win.
Little ride up on the ripple there out of Repco, but nothing to worry about as long as the car doesn't get upset. And unset, I should say. They're always upset with drivers like this behind them.
This is a team that's been working very, very hard on their fuel consumption from the Chevy V8s. Fred Gibson absolutely committed to a 4-stop strategy if he can do it tomorrow. And he considers that'll be critical in winning the race. We shall see. Oh, it's going to be tight at the top.
We saw how many cars were on the same lap last year, and these fellows know that one pit stop will save upwards of 30 seconds at that stop, and the downtime in the pit lane. Certainly a good strategy. Lock up there.
Yep. Gets a wheel up in the air through the dipper. The lock brake didn't seem to unsettle the car too much. Just shaves the concrete wall as he comes down toward Forest Elbow. That's tremendous commitment from Scaife.
Very close there.
Nice, fast, tidy exit from the elbow. Check the split for you. He's slower than Lowndes out of there, a 1:27.66. So quite a few tenths down on Lowndes.
We've still got the finesse through the chicane.
Well, he's quick down through here. Doesn't button it off.
Pulls over, right over, off the road.
He's still accelerating. The brakes lights come on. He travels a little further into the chase than most.
Look at that. Just stuck the outside wheel over the white line as he turned in. He's using every millimetre of tarmac he can get his tyres on. Puts it up on the ripple strip on the way out.
Down into the left-hander. This'll be it.
Whoa, locks it up on the inside, comes out. straight as it came across the line. Not much in it, but 2:11.95. 2:11.95. They're all getting down into the 11s.
So that would make him second fastest at this stage behind Craig Lowndes. Wayne Gardner third, Alan Jones fourth, Stephen Johnson in fifth, and Longhurst currently in sixth position.
He'll be happy with that. That was an excellent run for Mark Scape.
He'll drive tomorrow with Jimmy Richards. Right now, on the racetrack, the second of the mobile machines, car number 05. Driver doesn't need too much introduction.
Here's a guy that does have a few laps around here.
Yep.
We want to multiply 25 times 1,000. That'll be a starting point. Plus practice, plus mental training in how many laps he does it in his mind every night.
And he's certainly got some work ahead of him. Team manager Jeff Breck saying they'll probably go for 5 field stops, which would mean, I guess, Brock would do 3 full driving stints. So he's going to have his work cut out for him on Sunday.
Peter Brock comes across, takes the flag as he works pit straight. The mobile Commodore. And you'll be able to hear the recognition factor of Brock once he's on the track. Up around the top of the mountain, they just break into spontaneous applause for this man.
They know him.
Well, he is a Bathurst legend, isn't he? 9 times winner as we take Telstra Mobile Net race cam. And there is Peter Brock, a great view of the man at work.
This is a nervy corner coming up here because it's your first big break on a lap like this.
And that camera angle really does show, Alan, how off camber that track is. Now the car slides across here under power.
Absolutely. Here he comes up with the next really tricky corner. This is...
Whoa, he's lost it. Oh, and he's hit the wall big time. 2 big hits, one in the rear, one in the front. Brock has overcooked it coming into the dipper, and he's paid the ultimate price.
I think he just...
That's so unlike Peter Brock. Something has obviously gone wrong there. But inside the car, you saw him, it broke away and just backed itself into the wall a little bit.
Well, he didn't have any room for error, and he was moving at a fair clip, as we were discussing. A difficult corner at any time.
Race cam showed you quite graphically 90 kilometres an hour, losing it. And let's look at that on the 7 replay again.
He's not offline. He's just coming in a little bit late with that. Yep, and there.
Looks at the rear's broken loose.
He's felt that he was running. He's seen that he hasn't had enough territory. He's tried to save it, and unfortunately, with perhaps not tires as hot as they'd like to be, didn't really slow the car around in the spin. And the wall's been very unforgiving, which of course they are if you hit them at any speed.
Well, that's 2 times in 12 months. The Bathurst has bitten Brock big time. Let's look at on the race cam. Look at the wheel. He flicks it around full lock, but he's a passenger at this stage. Crash.
Actually hit there harder than we thought initially. It bounced around in the car.
Dear, oh dear.
Be mad at himself.
Well, you can see it's still rolling, and the damage not bad enough to stop the wheels turning, but he's just trying to turn it around inside that concrete tunnel there and get it back to the pits.
Yes,
Well, I don't think there's anything another car. You can almost go drop her into neutral and head on back down.
Goodness me.
No, if they could advise him that he could go back.
So, Peter Brock, car number 05, makes it as far as BP Cutting in the mobile machine. More action to come at Mount Panorama as the Tui's top 10 continues. Well, a little work to be done on the 05 car at the Cutting, heading up to the top of the mountain. And the Holden Racing Team boys, including Bev Brock, standing there thinking, that's just so unusual for Peter Perfect. And I guess, Alan Moffat, you've been around here a few years and you've been around with Peter's team. Would you put that down to the fact that cold tyres, the car's just broken away?
Well, everybody has cold tyres when they go out. I think he did go in enormously quickly. He looked under control, but at the last minute, I think when he saw the BP wall, he realized that he was running out of real estate. He tried to correct it as fast as he did, but it came around on him, and when it came around on him, there was no room to go. I think he actually saved it as well as he could, considering it could have gone in frontwards.
Well, the tilt tray truck is there. They've had a hold up here because you have to pull the front spoiler off these cars, and Brock had to do it all by himself with the help of a screwdriver up there to get it off. And I'll take the car back to the pits. It will probably make it back here. Here's the replay. Yes, heading to the right. Brakes on. He's in trouble about there.
Yes, he started to... Well, I'd say he's in trouble there.
He's definitely in trouble there. And it's gone in and caught the back of the wall. That's probably not the best angle, but you saw just how tight it was. And our race cam replay will show you just how heavy the hit was as Brock goes in.
He tries hard there and realizes that now he's got to hope that he doesn't hit the wall. A couple of clouts on the rear of the guard. I don't think superficial, it won't damage. I don't think he hurt structurally. They'll be, of course, very nervous about this time. It's only one more session at 2 o'clock this afternoon that they can practice the car before the big race. So naturally, time will be of the essence to get that back to the pits and have the mechanics give it a short back and sides.
What does that do to the confidence of a driver? Not that Peter Brock would be lacking any confidence, and the team itself.
He'll be more annoyed with himself than anything. I don't think he'll be worried about his confidence. And there's every chance that some mechanical failure, if a shock failed, it could have thrown him in the manner that it did.
Yeah. Well, I guess one guy who would be feeling a bit of the pinch at the moment be Thomas Mazzera, as Brocky is ready to head on back down to the pits. Let's go down to Andy Raymond's on pit lane.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Not a very happy Thomas Mazzera.
Oh, well, you know, it happens when you're going quickly.
Everything was looking so good. Craig Lowndes set a cracker pace.
Yeah, he did a very good lap, and I think it put the pressure on everybody else. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, it was a little mistake there. And but I don't think the car be too bad. The first thing we have to do, put the race engines in the race gearboxes and get the car out in the afternoon and repair the panel damage overnight.
Has Peter spoken to anyone from the team? Does he know how badly it's damaged?
No, I didn't talk to anyone. I don't know. Then hopefully it's not too bad. Then it's a back end. Then you know, you should bash it out. But the most important thing is to run in all the race gear we've got and we have to put in now.
Well, we certainly hope you can enjoy a bit of a drive this afternoon.
Well, you know, that's the aim anyway.
Thomas Mazzera there. There's the Brocky 05 car. The front air dam spoiler off there on the back, and the car is just about to head back to the pits. We've still got Dick Johnson, Glenn Seaton and Larry Perkins to come as the Tooheys top 10 continues for 95 at Mount Panorama at Bathurst. A beautiful day at Bathurst. The Tooheys top 10 continues with one of the all-time favourite campaigners on the racetrack at the moment. Car number 17 has been driven throughout 1995 by Dick Johnson, the 18 car by John Bauer. And for the Tooheys 1000, they combine their talent and the resources to share car number 17 and expect a quick one from Dick, who actually ran into a problem last year at the same spot that Peter Brock did.
Yes, well, they're all trying to pick up time on the slow corners. I mean, obviously everybody can come down the straights about the same speed, so you've got to gain on your opposition through the corners. But here we have Bathurst winner, 81, 89, 94. Second at Bathurst in 88 and 92. Winner of the Sandown 500 in 94 and 95. A nice back-to-back. And winner of the ATCC 81, 6 in 82, 84, 88, and 89.
Incredible record.
Yes, sure is. Dick Johnson, who was so wild with himself last year for clipping the corner, clipping the wall at BP. He takes the green flag and he's underway. Johnny Bauer gets respite this morning. He can sit and watch Dick.
Certainly those times by Junior Johnson and Craig Lowndes shows the pressure these young guns are putting on the Bathurst legends. Incredibly quick times early in the morning, and it really is putting on the pressure on guys like Brocky and Johnson. We take Dunlop Tyre race cam aboard car 17. Johnson looking as cool as a cucumber as he normally does. 240 kilometres an hour, brakes hard, back through the gears and up toward Repco corner.
The right-hander through Repco, wide exit, just out on the curb.
That's okay, as long as he saw it coming.
This was the corner that brought him undone and has already brought Peter Brock undone. He goes in there nicely. The exit is perfect.
Not me, thank you.
No, he knows where that wall is.
Well, there's certainly been plenty of accusations of political gamesmanship pointed at this car during the week when they came here. The fastest time Johnson did was some 3 seconds behind Peter Brock, and over the last 3 days they've found 3 seconds in this car. So however they've done it, it's certainly percolating right now.
And he's certainly driving that on the curb twice there. That is hairy stuff. nicely through the dipper. You can't bounce it through here, just over that little hole in the dip there.
It looks like a very, very quick lap.
Always is from Dick, because he drives this circuit better than most. Absolute equal between John Bowe and himself. Roof cam via Dunlop as they make the exit out of that. Now the open spaces of Conrod Straight. And this is where you'll get the opportunity to see the speed and listen to that great V8.
That is fantastic. Here we go, up into 5th, 6th.
So the windscreen wiper moving around in the airflow, coming over the screen, 180 miles an hour on the old scale, and he flings it through Caltech's Chase, hard on the brakes, about 200 metres to slow, from 275k to about 90 for this little corner here. Very tidy lap, Johnson, not as quick on the splits coming out of the Forest Elbow.
Beneath the Bridgestone Bridge. Down through the gears, a dab of the brakes, get it straight, out through here, checkered flag time, a little sideways beneath the bridge, and Johnson goes across the line. 2:11.55 is the time to beat, but no, that's well from it. The 2:13.19, 2:13.19, the time for Dick Johnson in car number 17.
And that puts him 6th at this stage.
Okay, so Johnson to 13.
1:09. 1 minute 28.05 at the split, so he was considerably down on Scaife, Craig Lowndes and Wayne Gardner at that point on the track.
Car number 30, Glenn Seaton, underway as he heads up Mountain Straight. Guy that was sitting just back behind the leaders the last couple of days, but yesterday delivered a beautiful time, only a couple of hundredths of a second behind Larry Perkins and gazumping John Bowe at the same time.
You don't do that very often.
Well, this guy was... Whoa, look at him get really sideways coming up the hill there. A fantastic bit of car control. He kept his foot right into it.
He did. That was a brave move. This is the cold tires on these. Just 1 lap to go.
That was a spectacular slide by Seaton, and boy, didn't he keep the thing balanced. Look, he's getting sideways again. He's right out of shape. That's 2. In the space of a few hundred metres, he's really untidy across the top of the mountain here. Just showing the enormous pressure these lead guys are under to cap these times by the young gun said earlier. Seaton all over the road. Gathered it up a bit here, brush of the brakes, rear wheel gets in the air, flying across skyline, down the hill once again. Tremendous driving from Seaton.
He's moving here, Mark.
He's right on a razor's edge. Gets the wheel a good foot in the air as he comes through the dipper, arrows the car down toward Forest Elbow. Well, those 2 lurid slides are going to cost him time. We'll check the splits when they come out of the elbow, but Seaton will be kicking himself, I'm sure.
Well, fortunately, he had a little real estate where he could slide it, unlike Peter Brock, who the same thing happened, but a wall waiting for him. But Glenn did hold on to that very well and very bravely, I thought.
1 minute 28 seconds dead. He's just a little bit faster than Johnson to that point in the track, so he's in the 28s on the split, and they will have cost him a bit of time. Most of the cars have proved to be pretty equal in the run from Forest Elbow round to complete the lap, so the real time is being made up on that first 2/3 of the lap.
The exit to Caltech's Chase. Seaton trying to be super smooth after getting a little sideways at Repco. Beautifully turned out car, always is. PJ team brings it beneath the bridge and across the line. Lap completed, full of incident there for Glenn Seaton.
Yes, I think his heart would be in his mouth still.
Well, it hasn't come up on the screen yet, but a 2:12.54.
2:12.54, which is identical time to that set by Wayne Gardner. So nothing between he and Wayne Gardner. That little sideways motion at Repco cost him dearly, and that because he's been down into the 11s.
At this stage, only Lowndes and Scaife, the only guys into the 11s this morning. Could this man do it?
All the pressure comes back on Larry Perkins, who would love to have pole for this one. And he knows a youngster out there by the name of Craig Lowndes wants to steal his thunder here at Mount Panorama today.
Does he ever?
Well, Lowndes stole pole position from a lot of them at Sandown a few weeks ago. And even though he blotted his copybook a few laps later in the race, he's just shown the tremendous speed he can get out of these Group A touring cars. Listen to the crowd. This man is Mr. Popularity at Bathurst. Won this race in sensational fashion in 1993. 3rd last year. And boy, hasn't he topped the timesheets all week. The Castrol Commodore absolutely flying at Mount Panorama this weekend.
And let's not forget the many times that he co-drove with Peter to get the wins in the Brock camp.
Back through the gears, up through Repco. Minimal amount of wheel movement. Larry's just so tidy on these maximum pressure one-lap qualifiers.
Let's just watch him here. Well, the camera's gone off, but thought we might have seen him in the same style. Not taking any chances, actually.
Very tidy so far.
Every lap's about the same with Larry, though, isn't it?
It's just very seldom spins it.
Guy with enormous experience.
He had it flying there.
Yep.
You saw the way the car was leaning towards that wall.
Listen to the crowd. Absolutely pandemonium across the top. Larry on a flyer, just brushes the brakes, hooks a rear wheel in the air through McPhillamy Park, down towards Skyline. Very tidy so far. Hasn't put a foot wrong. Perkins under enormous pressure to beat this audacious youngster. Craig Lowndes, 2:11.55. Castrol Race Camp shows the Commodore slam down onto the tarmac there as he comes through the dipper. Brushes the dirt wall on the inside, back through the gears, sets himself up for maximum exit speed from the elbow onto the straight for the final time.
He's got every part of the course right. It just depends on how quick he is now. The lap actually has been super smooth. Works across to the left-hand side. Listen to the V8 work. Kind of takes your breath away, doesn't it?
Certainly didn't back off then, did he?
Well, he was 0.7 of a second slower when he reached the elbow. 0.7 slower than Craig Lowndes. So Lowndes could well be the pole man of the Tooheys 1000 for 1995. Let's see what Perkins can do here.
And we could also have a front row of Commodores too. Last corner comes up. Perkins sideways, guns it, straightens it up. I don't think he's done it. He brings it across the line in the 12s. No, 2:12.48. 2:12.48 to Larry Perkins. He might well have a slice of the front row. But the master at Mount Panorama is going to be Craig Lowndes.
He's done it again.
And they have, he's come up with pole position for the 2 classics, the 2 endurance races, Sandown, and now today for Tooheys top 10 at Mount Panorama. Larry just fires. It's hard to get back in that pit lane there, straighten the cars up.
A U-turn, it's a bit...
Well, the crowd's giving him the raspberry. He stalled it a couple of times. There he is, underway. So Craig Lowndes, isn't he set the place on fire this week?
He heads on back. I think Larry will be satisfied. I don't know, but over the moon about it.
He's been the man that's set the pace since Thursday, but Larry, a 2:12.48. That'll put you on row number 2 for the big one.
I could be worse, couldn't it? But no, that's all I could do on the day, and congratulations to young Craig if he did the best. Just got to get it right now for tomorrow.
Tell me, one of the guys said earlier, these young blokes get out there and don't have any fear they haven't hit any walls yet. You guys, the wiser heads.
Oh, I don't know about that. I gave it all I could go then, and the other guy went quicker.
Larry Perkins would like to have been able to sneak pole, but I tell you what, Lowndes has been the scene stealer here today at Mount Panorama. No doubt about it, Al.
Yeah, yes, he has, and I think whatever misdemeanors he had at Sandown, they're well and truly behind him. To get pole around here, you don't do that by accident. You do it with a great team behind you, and you do it with a lot of heart.
Basically, we have 2 races, don't we, at Mount Panorama? We have the race that takes 4 days to resolve this, the top 10, and then everyone has 3 hours to get their cars back in trim to run an endurance race tomorrow.
2 o'clock, we've got to be ready for an hour's practice. Yep.
Let's have a look at the top 10 times. Craig Lowndes, pole at Mount Panorama for the Tooheys 1000, a 2:11.55. Second quick, he's done it. Mark Scaife, the Winfield Commodore, a 2:11.95. Then it's Perkins in the Castrol Commodore, a 2:12.48. Wayne Gardner, not a bad effort. The outside of row number 2, the Coke Commodore, a 2:12.54. Then it's Glenn Seaton, car number 30, the Peter Jackson car with a 2:12.54. Then, of course, Jones and Grice, they'll share the number 35 car. Alan Jones, a 2:12.71. Dick Johnson, that should be Junior Johnson, 2:13.11, 7th fastest. And guess who is 8th quick?
Be happy about that.
That's the old man, 2:13.19. Tony Longhurst at 2:13.89, and because he didn't actually complete a lap, he will now go from what he was yesterday, that was 3rd fastest, to 10th in the queue tomorrow. I think we have all the makings of a fabulous event here tomorrow.
Well, we certainly do, Mike, and with that kind of a split over the top 10, and let's remember, we've got 20 other good cars.
Yeah. You pick, quick?
Oh, don't put it on me now, Mike.
Okay,
it's too hard.
Let's go back to Bruce McAvaney instead.
Some high excitement, wasn't there, Mike, after the Tooheys top 10 today with Craig Lowndes. A surprise to some people, having pole tomorrow with Mark Scaife. A great result for the Commodores, 1, 2, 3 and probably 4 as well. and the two Johnsons will be sharing the 4th row. I hope you can join us tomorrow for the Tooheys 1000, the great race, from 8 o'clock Eastern Time. See you in the morning.
And when the journey is over, you can sail with pride. You gotta have the heart to climb the mountain if you want to see the other side. You gotta have the heart